Part 1/3. My brother is dating my ex, and now she's pregnant. Okay, so I never thought I'd be the guy posting a saga like this on Reddit, but here we are. Strap in, because this is messy, complicated, and I honestly don't even know what I want out of telling it. Maybe advice, maybe just to vent, maybe to finally get it out of my system. Either way, thanks if you stick around, because this is going to be long. I, 29M, had been with my ex, let's call her Claire, 27F, for almost 3 years. We met at work back when I was still doing IT for a mid-sized marketing firm. She was in design, we ended up on the same project, and one late-night deadline turned into beers after work, which turned into dating. You know the story. Things were good, not perfect, but good enough that we moved in together after about a year. She's funny in this sarcastic, sharp-tongued way, the kind of person who will roast you mercilessly but then cook you soup when you're sick. I thought we'd last longer than we did. We broke up last year. Nothing explosive, no cheating, no dramatic betrayal, just the slow burn of incompatibility. I wanted to settle down, start putting down roots, maybe even think about marriage. She wasn't there yet. She wanted to travel, to keep her options open, to not feel tied down. After a few too many arguments that went in circles, we mutually decided to end it. Honestly, it sucked, but I respected her honesty. We did the awkward move-out shuffle, divided the furniture, promised to stay friends but unsurprisingly didn't. Fast forward 6 months. I find out through my mom, of all people, that my younger brother, Ethan, 26M, is seeing someone. Mom is over the moon because Ethan has always been the quiet one and didn't date much. She's rambling to me about how nice it is that he's finally opening up, how happy he looks, and I'm smiling along, genuinely happy for him, until she drops the name. Claire. At first I laughed. Like, full-on laughed, because there was no way, right? Maybe another Claire. Maybe I misheard. But no. Mom meant my Claire. My ex? The one I had lived with, loved, broken up with not even a full year ago. And now she's with my brother? I'll admit, my first reaction wasn't even anger. It was disbelief. Then, when it sank in, it was this cocktail of emotions: betrayal, confusion, curiosity, even a weird sort of dark amusement. Like, of all the people in the world, my brother? Really? I texted Ethan. Hey, can we talk? He agreed, and we met up for a beer. The whole drive over I was rehearsing what I'd say. Something calm, something mature. But the second I saw his face, I just blurted out, "You're dating Claire?" He froze, then nodded. Yeah. I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how. I stared at him for what felt like an hour. Dude, she's my ex. We live together. How did this even happen? He explained that they'd run into each other at a friend's party a couple months back. They talked, reconnected, clicked. One thing led to another. And now, apparently, they were officially dating. He said he hadn't wanted to hurt me, but he really liked her. He also threw in, "You broke up with her, man." Like that made it better. I'll be honest, I didn't handle it gracefully. I told him it felt like a betrayal. That out of everyone in the world, choosing her was like the one thing that crossed a line. He pushed back, saying he didn't plan it, it just happened, and Claire wasn't mine anymore. We went in circles until I finally just said I needed space. That night I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to process. Part of me was furious. Part of me wanted to laugh at the absurdity. And part of me missed her. Like, seeing my brother with her made me realize I wasn't fully over it. That hit harder than I expected. The next few weeks were rough. Family dinners became awkward minefields. My mom, who somehow thought this was cute and meant to be, tried to play peacemaker. My dad stayed out of it, Classic dad move. Every time I saw Ethan and Claire together, a little part of me twisted inside. She acted friendly, like we were old pals. I managed polite small talk, but inside I was screaming. Then came the kicker. A couple months into this mess, Ethan invited me over. Said he wanted to clear the air. I went, mostly because avoiding him forever wasn't realistic. Claire was there too. We sat down in their tiny apartment, and I braced myself. Ethan looked nervous, fidgeting with his hands. Claire looked, well, almost smug. Like she knew something I didn't. Finally, Ethan said, "We wanted you to hear it from us first. Claire's pregnant." I swear, the room tilted. My ears rang. I had to ask him to repeat it because I couldn't process the words. Pregnant. With his kid. With her. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain short-circuited. I literally said, "You've got to be kidding me." Claire rolled her eyes, like I was the one being unreasonable. Ethan just looked at me with this pleading expression, like he wanted me to be happy for him. I wasn't. I'm not proud of it, but I stormed out. Didn't congratulate them. Didn't hug anyone. I just left. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, I've been avoiding calls, avoiding texts. My mom keeps urging me to be the bigger person, reminding me that this is my brother's first kid, that family should come first. But all I can think is, how do you celebrate something that feels like a knife in the gut? Here's where it gets even more complicated. Ethan texted me yesterday asking if I'd be willing to be the baby's godfather. Like, what? He said it would mean a lot to him, that he wants his kid to have a strong uncle in their life. I didn't even reply. I stared at the message until my phone locked itself. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to go no contact, just wash my hands of the whole thing. But he's my brother. And as much as I want to hate her, Claire was once the person I thought I'd marry. Now she's going to be family forever, whether I like it or not. And I can't shake this awful, gnawing thought. If things had gone differently, if we hadn't broken up, if I'd been more patient, that baby could have been mine. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Sitting here, typing this novel on Reddit at 2 a.m., wondering how my life turned into some soap opera plotline. I know this post is already way too long, but I feel like I've only scratched the surface. There's so much more. The way my parents are handling it, the weird vibe I've been getting from Claire, even something Ethan said last week that I can't stop replaying in my head. But this is already a wall of text, and I don't want to bury the lead. So I'll stop here for now. If people actually want updates, I can share more. Believe me, this story is far from over. Because the truth is, I just found out something that makes this whole situation 100 times more complicated. And I don't even know how to process it yet. To be continued. Part 2/3, my brother is dating my ex, and now she's pregnant. So last time I left off with that vague. Something that makes this whole situation 100 times more complicated. Yeah. Buckle up. Because things have only gotten messier since then, and I swear if my life isn't a rejected Netflix drama pitch, I don't know what it is. A week after I made that first post, Ethan came by my apartment. Unannounced. I was half asleep on the couch, wearing the same hoodie I'd been living in, surrounded by takeout containers, when he knocked. I considered pretending I wasn't home, but then he called through the door. "I know you're in there, man." Classic little brother move. I opened the door, and there he was, nervous smile, hand shoved in his hoodie pocket. "Can we talk?" I didn't want to, but I also knew avoiding him forever wasn't sustainable. So I let him in. He sat on the edge of my couch like he was in the principal's office. "Look," he started, "I know this sucks. I know you feel blindsided. But Claire and we're serious. And the baby." He stopped, swallowed hard. I need you to be in our lives. You're my brother. I don't want to lose you over this. I just stared at him. He looked so damn earnest, like he genuinely believed we could just patch this up and move on. I finally said, "You're asking a lot. You're asking me to sit at family dinners and watch my ex, the woman I thought I'd marry, pregnant with your kid. And you want me to smile through it?" His face fell. "I don't want you to fake it. I want you to be my brother. Please." I didn't answer right away. Because here's the thing, as much as I wanted to hate him, he's still my little brother. The kid I taught to ride a bike. The kid I covered for when he dented Dad's car. The kid who cried when our dog died and crawled into my room because he didn't want to be alone. And now he was sitting in front of me, begging me not to cut him off. So I sighed and said, "I'll try, but I need honesty from you. No more surprises. If there's something I need to know, you tell me straight." He nodded so fast I thought his head would fall off. "Absolutely. Total honesty from now on." Well, that lasted exactly 3 days. Because 3 days later, Claire messaged me. Out of the blue. Just a casual, "Hey, can we meet up? Just the two of us." I almost threw my phone across the room. My first thought was, no way. Not happening. But curiosity is a hell of a drug, and against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. Public. Less chance of me completely losing it. She walked in looking almost exactly the same as when we were together. Same sharp eyeliner. Same half smirk. Same way of making the whole room tilt slightly in her direction. Except now she had that glow. Not the cliché, pregnancy glow, though maybe that too, but the glow of someone who knows she's holding cards other people don't. We sat. Awkward small talk. Then she leaned in and dropped it. "Ethan doesn't know everything. And I think you should." My stomach sank. "What do you mean?" She stirred her coffee, looked at me like she was weighing whether to actually say it, then finally, "The timeline's messy. There's a chance the baby isn't his." I swear the world froze. People around us kept sipping lattes, typing on laptops, living their normal lives, and I just sat there, pulse pounding in my ears, trying to process her words. "What do you mean, chance?" I asked. My voice sounded flat, robotic. She gave a little shrug. "We hooked up. After the breakup. Before Ethan and I got serious. Once. Maybe twice." I nearly fell out of my chair. "You're telling me there's a possibility that kid is mine?" She didn't flinch. "Yes." I felt like I was going to throw up. My hands were shaking so badly I had to put my coffee down before I spilled it everywhere. I just kept repeating, "What the hell, Claire? What the actual hell?" She told me she hadn't said anything because she didn't want to blow things up if it wasn't necessary. That she planned to do a paternity test after the baby was born, just to be sure. And then she hit me with, "I thought you deserved to know before Ethan dragged you deeper into all this." I couldn't even look at her. I muttered something like, "I need to leave," and bolted. That night I barely slept. My brain wouldn't shut up. Flashbacks of us together, of the breakup, of that one night months later when she came over after too many drinks and we made the mistake of falling back into old habits. I'd buried it, told myself it was just closure. I didn't think it mattered anymore. But now? Now it might mean the kid she's carrying, the kid my brother thinks is his, could actually be mine. And here's the kicker, Ethan has no clue. None. He's walking around, glowing with first-time dad energy, while I'm sitting on this nuclear secret. I thought about telling him right away. Honesty, right? But then I imagined his face, imagined shattering his entire world. And the coward in me kept my mouth shut. Instead, I started pulling away again. Ignoring texts, dodging family dinner invites. Mom noticed. She called, all worried, asking if I was okay. I almost cracked and told her everything, but stopped. Because how do you even say those words? Hey, Mom, your first grandchild might actually be mine, not Ethan's. No, I couldn't. But secrets have a way of seeping out. And sure enough, last weekend, they did. We were at a family barbecue. Everyone was there. Parents, cousins, neighbors. Ethan and Claire showed up late, hand in hand, all smiles. Claire was in a sundress that made her baby bump obvious. People crowded around, congratulating them, asking due dates, all the cheerful small talk. And then my aunt, bless her heart, asked innocently, "So when did you two get together?" Claire froze. Just for a second. But I saw it. Ethan, oblivious, started to answer, but Claire cut him off with some vague timeline that was wrong. Off by a couple months. And I knew why. She was trying to hide the overlap. Something in me snapped. Maybe it was the heat, maybe the beers, maybe weeks of carrying this secret, but I blurted out louder than I meant. That's not when it started. The whole patio went silent. Every head turned. Claire's eyes shot daggers at me. Ethan frowned, confused. What do you mean? He asked. And I just stood there, mouth dry, realizing I'd opened the door and couldn't close it again. I didn't say the full truth. Not then. I mumbled something about timeline being messy, tried to play it off, but the damage was done. Ethan kept looking at me like he knew I was hiding something. Claire kept her death glare locked on me all night. And my mom, ever perceptive, pulled me aside afterward and whispered, "What aren't you telling us?" So yeah, that's where I'm at. Sitting on the possibility that my ex, who is now my brother's girlfriend, might be carrying my kid. Watching my family celebrate while I feel like I'm walking around with a live grenade in my pocket. And the worst part? Claire texted me after the barbecue. 3 words. Don't tell him. I don't know how long I can keep this secret. And I don't know what will explode first, the truth or me. To be continued. Part 3/3. My brother is dating my ex, and now she's pregnant. So here we are. The end of this wild ride, and honestly, I still don't know if sharing it is helping or making me feel like I'm reliving the world's worst soap opera. Either way, thanks for sticking around. Buckle up, because this last chapter is everything. Lies unraveling, family blow-ups, and me having to face a choice I've been running from since the moment Claire told me the baby might be mine. After the barbecue fiasco, I went radio silent. Ignored Ethan's texts, dodged Mom's calls, stayed buried in work. But avoidance only works for so long, and eventually, Ethan showed up at my apartment again. Except this time, he wasn't nervous, he was pissed. He stormed in without waiting for an invite. Seriously, this guy needs to learn boundaries, and got right in my face. What the hell was that at the barbecue? What did you mean about the timeline? I froze. I wanted to lie. To say I'd been drunk, that I'd misspoken. But Ethan's eyes were drilling into me, and I knew he wouldn't let it go. So I said the thing I'd been dreading. There's a chance the baby isn't yours. Silence. The kind that makes your ears ring. Ethan blinked, shook his head, laughed like I'd made a bad joke. What are you talking about? And then I told him. Not everything. Not the exact details of when Claire and I hooked up, but enough. Enough that he went pale. Enough that his hand started shaking. Enough that he whispered, "She said she was over you." We sat there in my crappy living room, 2 brothers whose lives had just collided in the worst way possible. He finally stood up, said, "I need to hear it from her," and left. I thought that was it. That he'd confront Claire, they'd deal with it, and I'd be cut out of the picture. Honestly, part of me hoped for it. But that night, my phone blew up, texts from Ethan, from Mom, even from Claire. It was chaos. Here's what went down. Ethan confronted her. She denied it at first, called me a liar, said I was trying to ruin their happiness. But eventually she cracked. She admitted there was uncertainty. That was the word she used, like we were in some corporate meeting instead of talking about a freaking baby. Ethan lost it, stormed out, drove straight to my parents' place, where, surprise, Claire was supposed to meet him for dinner. So of course, the whole thing exploded in front of Mom and Dad. By the time I got there, because of course Mom called me screaming, it was like walking into a battlefield. Claire was crying, Ethan was pacing, Mom was demanding answers, Dad was quietly sipping whiskey in the corner like he'd seen it all before. And then everyone turned on me. "Is it true?" Mom asked. "Did you sleep with her?" And I had to say it. Out loud. In front of my entire family. "Yes. After the breakup. Before she and Ethan got serious. It was one time. I didn't think it mattered anymore." The look on Ethan's face will haunt me forever. Betrayal, disgust, heartbreak, all rolled into one. He didn't say a word. Just walked out. Claire followed him, sobbing, but he shoved her off and drove away. Mom started crying too. Dad just poured another drink. And me? I stood there like an idiot, wishing the floor would swallow me whole. The next few days were hell. Ethan cut off all contact. Blocked me, blocked Claire. Mom called me daily, alternating between begging me to fix things and berating me for ruining the family. Claire texted constantly, insisting she still wanted me to keep the secret until the paternity test. But here's the thing, the truth was already out. The only missing piece was the result. Fast forward a month. The baby came early. A little boy. I didn't even know at first, found out through my aunt's Facebook post. That's how far out of the loop I was. But then, a week later, Ethan showed up again. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. He sat down across from me and slid an envelope across the table. "Paternity test," he said. My hand shook as I opened it. Read the words. And felt my entire body go cold. Because the baby was mine. I didn't know whether to cry, laugh, or throw up. I just sat there, staring at the paper, while Ethan watched me with dead eyes. "Congratulations," he said bitterly. "You're a dad." I tried to speak, to apologize, to explain, but what explanation is there? I stole his girlfriend, fathered his child, and shattered our family in the process. He stood up, said, "I'm done with both of you," and walked out. That was 2 months ago. Since then, things have been complicated, to say the least. Claire wants me involved. She keeps texting about co-parenting, about making this work. For the baby's sake. My mom, ever the peacemaker, is pushing me to step up, reminding me that blood is blood. Dad's staying silent, though sometimes I catch him giving me this look like he doesn't recognize me anymore. And Ethan? He's gone. Deleted his social media, moved out of his apartment, barely speaks to anyone. The last I heard, he took a job in another state. He hasn't met his nephew. Won't return my calls. So here I am, 29 years old, suddenly a father. Not with the woman I loved, not in the way I imagined, but in the most twisted, painful way possible. Every time I look at my son, and yeah, I've started calling him my son, I feel this mix of overwhelming love and crushing guilt. Because he didn't ask for any of this. None of it is his fault. I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know if Ethan will ever forgive me. I don't know if Claire and I can co-parent without killing each other. I don't know if my family will ever feel whole again. All I know is this. Life doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about bro codes, or timelines or clean breakups. Life throws you into the fire, and sometimes you come out burned. So yeah, that's my story. My ex is now the mother of my child. My brother may never speak to me again. And I'm left holding both the greatest gift and the heaviest burden of my life. Thanks for watching.